Hey guys, so today in honour of Non-Fiction November I have a entirely non-fiction library haul for you guys. I pretty much went on my library website and searched up a lot of the non-fiction books that were on my TBR, and I just went to the library and grabbed the ones that they had. And realistically I'm not going to be able to read all of these books within November, so you guys should definitely let me know if you've read any of them, what you recommend that I have to read first. The first one is Behind Bars by Annalise. This is a New Zealand non-fiction book, and Annalise is a journalist. She wrote this book based on her interviews with prisoners, like ex-prisoners, ex-guards from prisons as well. I feel like it's one of those things that not many of us have experience with, and it's something that you only see on TV and stuff like that, so it's cool to hear some like real stories. The next book is a totally different one. It's this book called Much Ado About Shakespeare by Donovan Bixley. This is also actually a New Zealand non-fiction book, which I didn't think about until right now, but it's very cool that I've got some New Zealand ones on my list. This is basically an illustrated biography of Shakespeare, and it is beautiful. Even just having flipped through this, I already want to buy a copy of it because it's so beautiful. The art in this is amazing. Like, just look at this picture, for example. It's just incredible, and there's quotes from his plays as well as like biographical information about him as well, so I think this book is so cool. The next one I have is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote, I don't know how to say his last name, but this one I heard Amy from Shout Amy talk about it ages ago. She has the best taste in books, and especially in non-fiction. This one is about a murder, I think. I don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest. I can't really remember, but I know it's pretty harrowing and pretty horrible. I am just kind of morbidly fascinated by things like this sometimes, and then sometimes I like scare myself a bit too much and don't want to read them, but we'll see how this one goes. I'm intrigued anyway. I also have a couple of like self-help type books that have been on my TBR for a while based on like good things I've heard about them all over the place. This one is Daring Greatly. It sounds like it's about having courage and not being afraid to not be perfect, so we'll see what this one is like. I feel like books like this can be a total hit or miss. They can either be really lame and cheesy or really, really great, so hopefully this is a really great one. I also have this one, which is incredibly popular. It's The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. This is about a woman who dedicated a year to a happiness project. I don't really know the context of like what that is but I've heard really good things about this. It was like huge, like hugely hyped everywhere. The next one is a total random. I just saw it on the shelf in the library and I picked it up. I've never heard of this before. It wasn't on my TBR, but I thought I want to read that. This is called Unexplained New Zealand, and it's about like ghosts and unexplained happenings and things like that, and I kind of like saw the spine of it and I was like, that sounds good, and I like things that are based around New Zealand. Sometimes it's nice to read about things from your own backyard, so I thought this would be cool, and I kind of like stuff about ghosts and things like that as well. It can be quite interesting. But then I pulled out the book and it had this sticker on it which says "Don't write in this book" and I've never seen a sticker like this before, so they must have had like an epidemic of people getting this book out and writing in it, which means either the book is really good or it's just one of those books that people who are obsessed with crazy conspiracy theories get out of the library and maybe they just write their own experiences and things in it. I just went past a page and someone's like, they've like twinked out what someone's written, so I'm very intrigued about this. You put a big stick like that on it saying don't write in it, and I want to get it and I want to see what people have written. The next one is The Fact of a Body by Alexandria Marzano-Lesnevich. This was in one of my most anticipated releases videos sometime this year, so it's a relatively new release. I think it's a biography. If I remember correctly, it's written by a lawyer, and she is working on a case regarding some kind of murder, and it sparks something like personal for her as well. I don't entirely know any more than that because I remember the synopsis sounding quite vague, but I'm really intrigued about this one and I am excited that I was able to get my hands on it because it is a recent-ish release, I think. I also have a couple of books that are written about Laura Ingalls Wilder. This is the Selected Letters of Laura Ingalls Wilder, who I mentioned in my previous video, and it just seems to be like a Laura Ingalls Wilder kind of month because I found this one, which is I guess just a compilation of different letters that she wrote to different people throughout her life, which I thought could be really interesting. If you don't know Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote the Little House books, so like Little House on the Prairie, things like that. I said in my last video I really struggle to say the word prairie. I don't know why, it's hard. But yeah, she wrote that, and all of those books were based on her life and the experiences that she had as a child and as a young woman, and I'm just so fascinated. It was my favorite thing as a kid, and I'm really excited to read some of her letters. And then I also have the annotated biography of Laura Ingalls Wilder. This is called Pioneer Girl. It's huge, and it's her biography that she wrote with annotations explaining it, I guess. I've got a glass of Coke on my desk and I nearly knocked it over with this giant book. I need to be careful, but this will be really interesting as well. To be honest, I'm not sure how interesting. I don't know how I feel about annotated non-fiction books. I feel like annotations can sometimes be really boring, so I hope they're actually like useful and interesting. The last book is another one that I think was in one of my most anticipated book releases videos, possibly this year, but maybe it was last year, and I remember looking at this one and just thinking it sounded really cool. So this is a non-fiction book about the witches, and it's by Stacy Schiff, and it just sounded really interesting to me. So I think it's just about the Salem witch trials that were going on at that time. There's a really cool map in the front as well, but yeah, that'll be interesting. So that is it for my non-fiction November library haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books, because I definitely need some recommendations of where to start, but I'm super excited about all of them. And yeah, I'll see you guys with another video in a couple days. Bye.